Yo. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn Show, man. Today is December the 2nd, and there are, I think it's 6 games in the NBA for today. So we're going to jump right into those. Before we do, a quick recap of yesterday. 2-2 based on official plays that I sent out. What was the winners? The winners were Jalen Duren over his 17.5 points. He got there pretty easily, even though if you watched the game last night, the Detroit Pistons, they did struggle when Atlanta went to zone. Ended up with just 99 points against the Philly team that was playing on the second leg of a back-to-back. So talked about liking Duren on the show yesterday, did a little bit more work when we got off the show, and got there with Duren over his points. The other winner was Lonzo Ball over 7.5 assists. He cashed that in the first half specifically. And then I did some stupid stuff. I added, and I said it in the write-up when I said it to the members, I said, I may regret this later, but I laid the -4 with the Hornets. Absolutely the wrong play. They couldn't stop turning the ball over. They made, the Nets look like they probably were going to the play-in, and they're not. The Nets suck. They stink, but definitely the wrong side in that game yesterday. The other loser was Amin Thompson over his 12.5 rebounds and assists, which he had 17 the day before. But I was watching that game, and Houston's super frustrating because the way that they run their offense, you just never know who is going to be ran through. Yesterday was Sengun. He had 14 assists. Last time we bet Sengun assists, I think it was against the Wizards. He had like 4. So it's really, really hard to get the Houston Rockets to get their player props right. So those were 2-2 looks. I did share on Twitter yesterday as soon as Sar got ruled out that I was going to play the Milwaukee Bucks team total over 59.5. That cashed pretty easily. And after the show yesterday, I did some more reading on the Cavs game, and it seemed like they were going to be locked in. So I stayed off of the Pacers yesterday, even though I talked about it on the show. I stayed off of their team total under, and that proved to be solid. The Cavs first quarter minus the 1.5 was a pretty easy winner yesterday as well. But 2-2, just 2-2 overall. Hopefully you guys made some money yesterday as well. Free sauce is on my way to the gym. My guy, I just left it. It's time for that Nuggets conversation, Chris. We talked about it, right? We talked about it. Can't really lay points with a team that don't want to play defense. I tweeted about it last night. That's the defense that the Nuggets were playing that got Mike Malone fired last night. I know Aaron Gordon is not that important. And I was thinking the same thing, Free sauce. All Aaron Gordon? I don't know. What's up, Fly Zero? Appreciate you for tapping in. Good morning, Real Talk. Yeah, you got to show up, man. You got to show up. That's called integrity. What up, Helms? Appreciate you for tapping in. Franz, under 31.5 points rebounds is always sweaty, but it cashes as usual. Look at the Orlando Magic. Lay a big number last night and barely win the game. LaMelo under 19.5 points. LaMelo has been pretty trash on the offensive end. That's a fact. That is a fact. Adam says great cash with the Bucks last night, Chris. Yeah, that was an easy one. All right, I was trying to get in all these comments. I'm not gonna be able to get all of them. What up, Doms? Helms is Ryan Rollins points. Props still too high with Porter and Giannis back from Milwaukee. Catches under 2 straight games. That makes a lot of sense, Helms. I agree with that. They lost. What you doing losing to the Wizards, man? What up, 77 figures? All right, let's jump into this, man. Let's get going this morning. Let's get to it. Good morning, and appreciate you for tapping in as well. What's up, for real? All right, let's jump into it. Dylan Brooks, the Lakers, man, throw some physicality out there. The Lakers crumble like a cheap cracker you got from the dollar store, man. Ooh, wee. Suns look good last night. The team total over, we talked about that on the show, was an easy winner last night too. Lakers they're not interested in playing defense. The Lakers last night looked like they the team from the playoffs last year that played against a Minnesota team that played defense. But let's jump into it for today, man. So first up, we'll go with Jaxon, AI Sports Betting Tool. Jaxon went 0-2 yesterday, like 2 plays from the same game. The under between the Cavs and the Pacers was a loser. And the Cavs plus the Pacers plus the points was the other loser. So 0-2 day for Jaxon yesterday. Jaxon needs to bounce back today. I asked Jaxon for let's see. I switched it up a little bit today. Let me see which prop I ended up going with. So the first one I asked Jaxon was the best side bet. I kind of want to run it back with the side. Jaxon so the actual prompt was What's the number one spread bet in the NBA today based on situational spots and analytics? So Jaxon likes the Minnesota Timberwolves minus the 10 today. It says that the Pelicans are statistically one of the worst teams in the NBA, and the 10-point spread is far too generous given the massive effective gap between these two teams. So if you get into the numbers, it shows that the Timberwolves are plus 4.7 in net rating, which ranks number 8. The New Orleans Pelicans are minus 10.4, which ranks 28. Analytical edge goes to the Timberwolves. Expected wins, Timberwolves 55.6 ranks number 7. 18 for the Pelicans, they rank 27th. And the defensive rating, 112.9 for the Timberwolves, which ranks 11th. And then the Pelicans defense is 120 defensive rating, which ranks 28th. So it talks about that net rating gap. It also talks about the value spot receiving. The Timberwolves at minus 10 provides a significant 5.1 points of analytical value compared to their expected performance based on season-long efficiency, which I don't bet this way. The Pelicans struggle. The Pelicans are a bottom 3 team in the league, ranking 28th in net rating, 27th in expected wins. Their 3-18 record is a reflection of their poor underlying metrics. Then you got the defensive mismatch. The Timberwolves boast a top 11 defense, 112.9 defensive rating, which is perfectly positioned to exploit the Pelicans' offensive struggles. The New Orleans ranks 26th in offensive rating, 28th in effective field goal percentage, and they are particularly poor at the rim, 61.3% effective field goal percentage, which ranks 28th, and from the mid-range, 37.6% effective field goal percentage, which ranks 29th. Timberwolves strengths. So the Timberwolves defense is strong across the board and should have no problem containing the Pelicans' inefficient offense, forcing them into difficult shots and turnovers. So, and then you got the situational spot. Timberwolves are rested and focused, while the Pelicans are simply struggling to compete. Both teams are rested, but the Timberwolves are coming off a strong stretch of play, maintaining their top 10 efficiency. There's a lot of stuff in here, but this is they have a confidence rating as well. It's 5 out of 5. So take with that information, do what you want. I didn't bet the Timberwolves, but I wouldn't. I'm not putting my money on the Pelicans. All right, so that's the first one. I asked Jaxon for the best spread, the best total bet in the NBA for today as well. So same prompt, right? Very, very similar. What's the number one total bet in the NBA for today based on situational analytics and other data? Jaxon likes the Thunder and the Warriors under the 222.5. So I know this line opened up. We'll talk about it in a second, but it says I'm locking in the under 222.5 between the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Golden State Warriors game. This pick is anchored by the Thunder's historical effective, the Thunder's historical elite defense, which is perfectly positioned to stifle the Warriors' struggling offense. So defensive rating, OKC number 1, points allowed per 100 possessions, OKC's number 1. Offensive rating, OKC's number 5. Points per possession, OKC's number 4. The Golden State Warriors rank 7th in defensive rating. Points per possession allowed, they are 7th at 113. Offensive rating at 113. Of course, there's no Steph, so that's going to make it even worse. Points per 100 possessions, 114.2, which is 22nd. So then it goes into the stronghold. When the league's best defense meets a bottom tier offense, the result's almost always a suppressed scoring environment. The Thunder's defense will force the Warriors into difficult shots, leading to longer possessions and fewer points. Pace, both the Thunder and the Warriors, 15th and 14th, play at a league average pace. This means the game will not feature a high volume of possessions needed to push the total up and over the 222.5, especially given the defensive efficiencies. Warriors half-court struggle offense. I'm not reading all this, but yeah, there's a lot of reasons it feels like to like this based on what I'm reading. And this is also a confidence play, 5 out of 5 as well. So 2 5 out of 5 plays I gave you guys. The under in this Warriors game, and then the Timberwolves minus the 10, which you can get a 9.5 still, but it is moving to 10.5 as well. And it did open at 9.5. So those are the 2 looks for Jaxon. As always, link is in the description. Let's jump into the games. So not really going to talk too much about. I'll save Washington and Philly, like Portland and Toronto too. The injury reports in those games just really don't make me want to talk about them. Not here to waste time either. So I skipped over those 2 games, but I'll give you guys quick thoughts at the end. Try to make the show a little bit shorter today. All right, so first game we're going to is this New York and Boston game. And I kind of had to, catch myself last night because I'm seeing the opening line. I'm thinking to myself, Well, all right, the Knicks are laying a point here. Then it went to 1.5. And now it's going to Boston. It's flipped to Boston. I really wanted to lay the point last night with the New York Knicks on the road because I know that the Knicks are the better team. They're better than the Boston Celtics. Do they have a little bit of a letdown in the spot? I mean, maybe. They haven't been that great on the road. But let's jump into the matchup. So total open to 29.5. It has gone up as high as 231 I see right now. So the Knicks will be without OG Anunoby, who's supposed to be returning soon, but not today. Landry Shamet remains out as well. And then Boston should get Derek White back, who didn't play in the last game. And then Keita is also listed as probable. So Knicks playing first leg of back-to-back. They host Charlotte tomorrow. So this is a one-off road game for them before they go back home. They've won 5 straight. They've covered they've won 5 straight, covered. And 6 of their last 7 have actually stayed under the total. So Knicks have been playing some really good defense. And offense is kind of clicking as well. We took them on Sunday against the Toronto Raptors. They got the job done there. Celtics are playing their first home game after coming back off a short 2-game road trip. They do have double-digit in-season revenge, but it's also they're playing 3rd and 4, coming off that win as a dog against the Cleveland Cavaliers on Sunday. They've covered 4 in a row and 5 of their last 6. So the Celtic team has been absolutely cooking. The Knicks are just 2-6 against the spread on the road, but I kind of feel like it eventually has to correct itself. Now, the Celtics did lose to the Knicks, of course, last season in the playoffs. They've already lost to the Knicks so far this season in the Garden when they played earlier this season as well. I think the Knicks are the Knicks are better than the Celtics. Like, that's what it comes down to. Do the best team win every single night? No. The Hornets are better than the Nets, but not last night they weren't. The only thing that's holding me up from taking the Knicks is I know that the Celtics want to shoot a lot of threes. And if those threes are falling, the Knicks can absolutely lose this game because we know that the Knicks, whatever reason, like it don't matter if they got Thibodeau, don't matter if they got, like, it don't matter who the coach is. Mike Brown, they just bleed threes. I'm not going to bring the numbers up to show you guys, but just know that they give up a ton of threes. And, somebody on this Celtics team is going to knock down a bunch of threes. The Celtics get back-to-back. Very, very soft perimeter defenses in this one. So what I considered in this game was the first look I considered was the Knicks, of course. We talked about that. Karl-Anthony Towns over his 11.5 rebounds. I do like that line a lot. I'm going to try to bring a couple of these on the screen because I'm doing a lot more player props nowadays. Let's see if I can actually find Cat. I saw this listed yesterday. I know it's still listed. All right, there we go. All right, so let me bring this up. Karl-Anthony Towns rebounds listed at 11.5. He's in a really good spot, in my opinion, to be able to go out here and grab 12 boards. I know he's on the road, but if we think that the Knicks are going to play any version of defense, let me just get back to here. If we think the Knicks are going to play any version of defense, then we got to be thinking that Karl-Anthony Towns is going to be able to go ahead and grab some boards. So let's just go to the rebounds. This is outlier, of course. He struggled in the last couple games, 10, 10, and 8. Line listed at 11.5, even though he has struggled. You can see that the Celtics give up a ton of rebounds. To the center position, they are bottom 5. You can see that right here. Overall, they're bottom half of the league as well. When these two teams played earlier this season, this was the game here. Cat had 13 boards in that game. I think it's a game where Cat should be able to dominate on the glass. So that was the first thing I considered. The other thing I considered was Jalen Brunson. 2 ways I was looking at Jalen Brunson in this game. The first one was under his 7.5 assists, which this line may be gone now. I was looking at this last night. 7.5 was like minus 125 last night. And it's probably gone now. But Jalen Brunson, let's see. So 6.5 is plus 110. Yeah, 7.5 is probably gone. Let's see. Yeah, 7.5 is gone now. But Jalen Brunson, for whatever reason, if you look at this head-to-head matchup, he just doesn't get as many assists against the Celtics. He's more of a scorer, and I'll show you guys that as well. The game that they played earlier this season, he only had 5 assists. He did have 17 potentials in this game. Come down here, you can see the potentials. 6 and 6, right? And then these were the games last year in the playoffs as well. But he's much more of a scorer against the Celtics. So if we look at his head-to-head games, you can see that, he went out here 31 in the first game that they played here. These playoff games I don't really take too much into consideration, but I know that Jalen Brunson can get a shot and score whenever he wants to. The other thing I consider was Jalen Brunson 3-point makes. So 2.5 is the number. You can see that he had hit 3 in this game here. 4 of the last 5, he's going up and over the number. And the Celtics also bleed threes. Look at that. Threes allowed. You can see that they bottom 10 there. So there's a couple different ways I was thinking about playing this game. Ultimately, I didn't get there. If we look at Jalen Brunson this season, he's in pretty good form. Over in 3 of his last 5 games, hitting 3 or more. And this line was -1. Yeah, you can get it at -105. So I kind of feel like Brunson will be more of a scorer than a facilitator. That's my thoughts on this game, and I want to take the Knicks. I do want to take the Knicks. I want to take them. If I take them, I would love to have them as a dog. So I'm not sure why I haven't pressed the button yet, but those are the only way I'm looking to play this game. Let's see. What up, B-Hobby says 1-1 yesterday. Got some spots today. Let's get it then. Losing to the Wizards is really bad. It absolutely is. Mitchell Robinson, 8+ rebounds. Celtics allowed 23rd most offensive rebounds, 17th in general. We just talked about that. Mitchell Robinson averaging 4.5 offensive rebounds per game over his last 5-7 games. Versus bottom half rebounds. If he gets at least 2 offensive rebounds, I think he get ace easily. Yeah, I could see that. Could definitely see that too. It's going to be one or the other. Derek White hit 4 threes. Makes a lot of sense to me, especially with, who is it? What's the other guard name? Peyton Pritchard. He just went off of 42. And I'm pretty sure he had a bunch of threes in that game. Josh Hart double-double. That makes a ton of sense as well. Also played Josh Hart double-double. What up, Varios? Appreciate the content. Y'all hit the like button. How's coaching going? So we actually had last week off because of Thanksgiving. We have practice on Thursday. So practice on Thursday. I'm taking my son to a game tonight. And our first game is on Saturday. So we shall see how it goes, man. But appreciate you asking, though, Vario, for sure. All right, let's move on to the next one. Try to speed up a little bit. Timberwolves and Pelicans. Jaxon kind of talked about this one already. So I wrote down 9 in my notes yesterday. Total was 232. It's going up 3 points. Spreads going up 1 point. This is the first of a little mini back-to-back series. Both teams play in New Orleans, both in New Orleans, and the next one is on Thursday. So injury report here, I think the Timberwolves are pretty clean. Yeah, they're clean. The Pelicans have a slew of injuries, right? No Herb Jones, no Jordan Poole, no DeJounte Murray. They could get Trey Murphy back in this game, and Jordan Hawkins has been upgraded to questionable as well, based on what I'm seeing. And then Zion is off the injury report. So I do expect this to be a game where you see points. Like it's always scary, in my opinion, to lay points with the Timberwolves, a team that can be so inconsistent when you need them to win by double digits. We just saw the Pelicans cover on the second leg of a back-to-back when they were playing against the Lakers just 2 nights ago. Now, the Timberwolves are a better defense than the Lakers, but they also play around with their food a little bit too much for me to want to lay double digits with them on the road. It's his 3rd game in 4 nights for the Timberwolves as well. They're just 4-6 against the spread on the road, but they are coming up back-to-back wins against San Antonio and Boston. Back-to-back overs as well after playing 8 straight unders for the Timberwolves. And then on the Pelican side of things, it's also 3rd game in 4 nights. Yesterday was the only day they had off, and they're coming off the loss to the Lakers, of course. First game back home off a little 2-game mini road trip. They've lost 3 straight, but they've covered 3 of their last 4 games. So the way I think about this game is one thing that really jumps out to me, and it's Rudy Gobert rebounds. Like, I look at the Pelicans, and they're not a great rebounding team. Derek Queen is he's gonna try to go down there and do his thing, but as far as rebounding the basketball, I think that those opportunities will be there. So I was looking at Gobert rebounds last night. They are some of these lines. I had some spots I had circled. I didn't even see a line, but 10.5 for Rudy Gobert. This is a bottom 10 rebounding team, and the Pelicans on the other side. He has gone under in back-to-back games with 8 and 8. So it's interesting that the line's all the way at 11. But I think he can absolutely get there. You just need the rebound chances to get there, which I kind of feel like they will. Anthony Edwards' points has been absolutely killing. I think he has 5 games where he scored 30+ in a row. Pelicans don't have a defender that's going to be able to stop him. So those are the ways that I thought about this game. I don't really want to lay this big of a number with the Pelicans, with the Timberwolves on the road. That's really what it comes down to for me. Let's see. Knicks money line. I like that too. I like that a lot. Adam says, and 30 points, 35 and 40. And points over, LJ says, Pelicans allow the most points to the guard position in general. Yeah, I could definitely see it. Either Rudy Gobert rebounds, Anthony Edwards points. Those are the ways I think you can get some money in this game here. All right, I don't want to spend too much time on it. Next game up we have is the Grizzlies and the Spurs. Another game that didn't intrigue me too much. I did watch the Grizzlies, come back in that last game against the Kings on Sunday. They got down in the third quarter, fought all the way back, won that fourth quarter, and won the game. So now you have the slew of injuries continue, but they starting to find some continuity, it feels like. Vince Williams and Cedric Coward, Jalen Wells, and Jared Jackson Jr., Zach Edey. These guys aren't necessarily that bad, man, especially in my opinion with Zach Edey being back, because he can kind of anchor the paint and it makes the defense a little bit better. Not even a little bit better. I think it makes it a lot better, honestly. So if one thing I wanted to look at that I didn't get a chance to last night was I wanted to see the last 5 games defensive rating for the Grizzlies. So they are top 10 defensive rated team last 5 games. Actually 12th in offensive rating as well, which is a lot better than the Spurs. Now, granted, if you look at the last 5 games, the Spurs have been playing a much better competition. So what I wrote in my notes for this game was Memphis has double-digit in-season revenge. They're playing their last of a 4-game road trip. Typically, you don't like that spot. And what makes the last game of a 4-game road trip even worse is that they play 8 of their last 10 games on the road. So they've been traveling back and forth and up and down the West Coast. Now they're back in the mid, I guess you could say the South, or the Mid-East, Midwest, or wherever you want to call San Antonio. It's definitely South. But they've been all over the place. They've won and covered 3 straight. They've also played the Pelicans, the Clippers, and the Kings in their last 3 games. So you can't get the Grizzlies but so much credit, in my opinion. San Antonio is playing first leg of back-to-back. They play in Orlando tomorrow, which is kind of a terrible spot for them. They're 7-3 against the spread in their last 10 games. First game home after a 4-game road trip, so not a great spot for them either. Then right back on the road tomorrow, like I said, to play Orlando. Lost in Minnesota after beating Portland and Denver and covering both of those games. So this game is it's kind of interesting. It's really interesting. I don't want to bet on the Grizzlies because of the spot. I don't want to lay points with the Spurs because of their defense, but they have played the much stronger strength of schedule, in my opinion. When you just play Portland, Denver, and San Antonio, it's a lot harder than playing against the Pelicans, the Kings, and the Clippers. Those versions of this team. So I say all that to say, I guess, San Antonio's numbers are a little inflated because of their recent defense. That would kind of give me a little bit of an edge. The Spurs have been good at home as well. They're 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 games, but they're doing it with offense only. I feel like the defense is kind of taking a step back. The only time they played really good defensive game was, I think, against Portland, and that was kind of random, in my opinion. But they are 11-8 against the number, 6-3 in the first half, 4-3-2 as a home favorite overall. And I don't know, man. I still really don't want to trust the Grizzlies, even though they have been playing a lot better recently. So I don't really know what to do with this game. Don't know what to do with it. Malcolm says Trey Murphy points if he plays. We run in Edey rebounds ladder again. Makes a lot of sense. I'm not even sure what Edey's rebounds are, but I do need to look into Mr. Edey's rebounds. I forgot about those from Sunday. Real quick, let me see what the best number I can give is Zach Edey rebounds. Yeah, bear with me for just 1 second. Let's see. All right, so Edey's rebounds are 11.5. He's had 15 or more in 4 of his last 5 games. The only game he did not was against the Denver Nuggets. I don't know what happened in that game. But yeah, he had 15, 19, and 17. He doesn't get the greatest matchup. The Spurs allowed 4 fewest rebounds, but I think a lot of that has to do with Wemby. They're also top 10 against the center position. Edey's been crushing the boards. So if you think that they continue to play defense, I just mentioned them being a top 10 defensive rated team over the last 5 games, then that does make a lot of sense. No Wemby is up. Chris, what do you think about Rockets first half? I like it, Don. I like it a lot. I actually got that written. It's already on the short list. But yeah, I do have that one circle. We probably saw the same thing, Don. Grizzlies, I'll talk about that game in just a second. Bonds' Grizzlies have been the hardest team for me to bet on and against on spreads and props. Appreciate. Yeah, I can understand that. Sudoku says, appreciate you, Chris, for your devotion. Always want to say the problem with Taylor and Jaxon is that it's not under any pressure or obliged to give it when it plays. I mean, if you paying for it, if you paying for it, then you want it to be efficient. I think a lot of it is like prompting though. Like it's like AI with anything. If you guys use AI with any part of your life, it's not necessarily. It's gonna give you like what you put into it, you know. So the more detailed your prompt is, I think the better results you'll get. And that's just with any AI stuff. In general. All right, so let's go to the last game. We got the Thunder and the Warriors. Last game I want to talk about. We'll go rapid fire through the other ones. So Thunder and the Warriors. We know that the Thunder will be a little bit shorthanded. Caruso, Dort are out, and we know Isaiah Hartenstein's gonna miss, I think, the next 2 weeks. And then on the Warriors side of things, Jimmy Butler didn't practice yesterday, but he is. Steve Kerr said he was gonna play. Draymond Green's listed as probable, and Seth Curry, not Steph. Steph is out. Continues to be out. Second straight game. But Seth Curry is supposed to make his season debut for the Golden State Warriors today as well. Al Horford, DeAnthony Melton both continue to be out as well. So this total steamed down, open 226.5 all the way down to 222. Warriors were getting 8.5 points as a dog at home. Now they're getting 11, 12, 12.5 points, just depending on where you're shopping. OKC, second straight road game. They have not been covering these big numbers on the road, just 5 and 6 against the spread on the road so far. They've won at least 10 games in a row overall, but they have failed to cover in 3 straight games. They're 1-3 against the spread, laying points on the road in their last 10 road games. And the Warriors have double-digit in-season revenge, 2 days of rest in this spot. They're 6-3 against the spread at the crib. Most of these, of course, came with Steph Curry. And they've been off since Saturday. They barely beat the Pelicans after losing to the Houston Rockets in back-to-back home games. They are rested. Right back on the road after this game. They come back east. They got Philly on Thursday. And, of course, we know that the Thunder smoked them in the first time that they played. They beat them 126-102 in OKC as 8.5-point favorites. So the one thing I didn't get a chance to look up last night, I remember thinking to myself I wanted to do this, but I wanted to look at the Thunder so far this season laying double digits on the road. It hasn't been necessarily the greatest. They smoked the Kings, which everybody's doing. They smoked the Grizzlies. This is when the Grizzlies sucked. Like really bad, and didn't have Zach Edey. And then they didn't cover against the Hornets or the Pelicans, didn't cover against the Trailblazers in their most recent game on Sunday either, but did beat the Jazz. So the Thunder, the last 3 have gone over. The first 3 went under. I kind of feel like OKC, like this total is so low, in my opinion, I feel like it could sneak over. But I do understand the Warriors offense without Steph Curry is absolutely abysmal. I mean, they made the Pelicans look like a solid defensive team. So I don't want to put any money on OKC laying this big of a number on the road. Can they win by this margin? Yes, but being shorthanded without 3 players is different when you're short 3 players and you're at home. But being out of rotation with 3 role players, important pieces: Dort starter, Isaiah Hartenstein starter, Caruso, super big piece off the bench. It's an ugly play, man, but I think I'd be taking the home dog. The Warriors stink without Steph. Their offense, I think they had like 12. It was like 13-14 at the end of the first quarter against the Pelicans the other day. That's against the Pelicans. So I do expect the Warriors to struggle to score, but I think I would go with the ugly dog and take the Warriors plus the points in this game. Yeah, I think I would take the points, and I also would take the under. Those would be the ways that I would play. Steph Curry did sign with the team. Yes, he is on the team. Helm says, love the under in this game, 222. No Hardenstein, Kuminga over his boards, LJ says. Helm says 106-95 type game, in my opinion. I can see that. Dress says, what's Thunder first quarter spread away? Maybe an early look. They've actually struggled. So when they've laid double digits on the road so far this season, they're +1 in the first quarter. They were losing to the Trailblazers in their last game. They lost the first quarter and the first half, ATS wise. Adam says Jimmy Butler under his 23.5 points. He's gonna get infinite value. We'll see if he actually makes them though. And yeah, I mean, clearly I don't really enjoy the slate. There are some player props that I still want to do some work on. And I'll send those out if I end up making them. Let's go rapid fire through the other games real quick. So the first one is the Wizards and the Philadelphia 76ers. So line was at 13.5 last night. It came down to 12.5, and that was back up to 13.5. The interesting thing is the total, though. It opened at 237. It's down to 234.5. It looks like on DraftKings. I kind of think that this is still an over spot. So on the injury report for the Philadelphia 76ers, they do have they got Drummond listed as questionable. I think Drummond's not going to play. That's just my thought process. I think he was held out after the first half in the last game. Joel Embiid continues to be out. No Kelly Oubre Jr. Drummond is questionable. Quentin Grimes is probable. And then on the Wizards side of things, they can submit their injury report late. Wouldn't surprise me if Chris Middleton sat. But I kind of want to see what happens with Sarr. Corey Kispert continues to be out as well. And then Trey Johnson is out as well. I kind of want to see what happens with Sarr. If Sarr is out, honestly, even if Sarr plays, I kind of feel like this is an over. I don't trust Philly defensively. They've been a bottom half of the league defensive team. I know that they're coming off an overtime game. Washington also playing second leg of back-to-back as well after beating the Bucks last night. But I feel like they should be able. Like Philly is not scaring me defensively at all. The second straight home game. Coming off a loss. I know that they can score. I think their team total is 124, but I think the Wizards should be able to get to like 110 too. So the first one flew over the total. I think even in regulation, even though it did go to overtime, that total was 239.5. Maybe Washington runs out of gas in this spot, but it'd be over a Philly team total over for me in this game. And we'll see what happens with PG because he's also listed as questionable in this game. But I like over. That's my thought process in that one. Tyrese Maxey over his assists, I think, is something that it wasn't available last night. I didn't get a chance to look at it this morning, but he should be able to dominate, and score the basketball as well. We'll see who plays, though. Paul George and VJ Edgecombe play that. You got to kind of watch all that. And then Portland and Toronto. So I saw the reason why I didn't really want to go through this game is because of the injury report. Portland has Klingon listed as questionable. He didn't play in the last game. Scoot Henderson remains out. No Drew Holiday. Matisse Thybulle and Wesley continue to be out. And then on the Toronto side of things, they should get Jakob Poeltl back. He didn't play in the last game. RJ Barrett is listed as out. Continues to be out. So Portland playing first leg of back-to-back. They got a game in Cleveland tomorrow versus the Cavs. They've lost 7 of their last 10. They are a lot more rested in this spot since they had 3 days of rest before playing OKC on Sunday. No travel before that because before they play the OKC at home, they had San Antonio at home. So they're a much more rested team in this spot. I initially wrote in my notes, if no RJ, Portland plus the point sounds appealing. Toronto is playing third game in 4 nights. They lost both of their games, right? They lost to Charlotte, went to New York, lost to the Knicks. They're 7-3 to the under in their last 10 games, back-to-back games where their offense has really, really struggled. Portland defensively, bottom 5 defensive rated team on the road. That scares the hell out of me wanting to, take the points for Portland because I know that they can absolutely give it up on the road. They get Klingon back, though. I kind of feel like it's a Portland spot. They beat Toronto 4 straight times. They've covered 3 of the last 4 spreads, so maybe it's like a matchup thing. Toronto was a little hot. Now it feels like they're cooling off a little bit. Kind of like Detroit. Detroit didn't cover last night, even though they were getting the team off a double overtime game. It had all incentive to blow them boys out last night. So I kind of feel like Portland plus the points is the right side in this game. But to what LJ was, what Don's was saying in the chat, Portland on the road as a dog, they've been really, really bad. I remember taking them against Miami. Miami was in the 5th game of 7 nights. They got smoked. I took them against Orlando. Lost the game on a Desmond Bane 3-pointer with no time left. So defensively, they've been really, really bad. They played pretty good defense against OKC on Sunday. I'm not sure if I want Klingon in if I want Portland. That's what I really want. And I don't really have any thoughts on the total because Portland's defense is so bad. It wouldn't surprise me if Toronto went off offensively in this game. So those are my quick thoughts on that one. Kind of want to get there with Portland, though. I really want to get there with Portland. It is moving from 5 to 5.5. If Portland got blown out, wouldn't surprise me either. But if Klingon gets ruled in, I think it's probably a little bit more of a Portland spot. Toronto first half makes a lot of sense as well. They are, I think, something like 5. I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but like 5-1 or something like that in the first half. They're coming off back-to-back losses. Expect them to be motivated in this spot. They do have, some advantages for sure in this game. So we'll see. The other game that I didn't talk about, no, that's all of them. Yeah, that's all of them. I talked about the rest of them. So those are my thoughts on those ones. My guy Ski, what up, Ski? Let's see. What else y'all saying in the comments? This slate sucks. Yeah, I don't really like it either, Helms. And I don't even like to project that energy because some people may love it. It's just not my thing. They they'll be available later, probably MGT. Honestly, I can see this game going over. Both teams not good against the spread. Take the over, LJ says. Shout out to my guy Dream. Yeah, Ski said the same thing. Yeah, shout out to Dream. Taylor likes Maxey assists. We talked Maxey over 7.5, over 75 points. He said the Wizards bottom 5 in transition. Free throws allowed, pick and roll ball handler, 56% of his points, 31 in 4 of his last 7 versus bottom 10 teams defending transition. Just worried about a blowout. I don't think they'll blow him out, honestly. I really, really don't. Ski up early. Ski probably ain't go to sleep yet. What up, Ski? Shout out to my guy, Ski. All right, let's get into a quick recap. What I wrote in my notes was Washington, Philly over. I want to see what happens with SAR, see what happens with PG. We'll see how that goes. I don't agree with the total drop it down, though. Like, I do think that Philly's going to be able to score at will against Washington. I think Washington should be able to get to 110, which is what they would need if the Philly gets to 124, which I think that they can too as well. Toronto minus the first half minus the 3. I talked about that. Full game though, if Klingon is ruled in, potentially a spot to back Portland. I don't know if I'll get there. I do think the Knicks are the right side. I have not bet them yet. They're -1 on some books and they're +1 on others, and then that total is still going up. Jalen Brunson over his threes. We talked about. Also talked about Karl Anthony Towns over his 11.5 boards. Just didn't add that one here. Rudy Gobert rebounds is something to consider as well. And then don't really know what to do with the Memphis and San Antonio game just because of situational spots. Golden State's the ugly play that I probably would make plus the 11 and plus the 12 you can get right now. Plus the 12.5 on ESPN bet and the under in that game as well. So I got a little bit more work to do on these games, but I do appreciate you all for tapping in. Resources, as always, are linked in the description. Check them out if you guys are interested, and hit the like button for me on the way out. Subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on, all that good stuff. We'll be back tomorrow. There are about 11 games in the NBA for tomorrow, 10, 11 games for tomorrow. So we'll be back then, man. Best of luck.